Hello guys, Omni here. Over the weekend, I managed to actually squeeze in, I know I missed Child's Play and Toy Story, but I was able to actually manage and squeeze in Jessica Jones Season 3. I did manage to watch the entire season. I finished it, I believe, Saturday? I think it was Saturday night when I actually wrapped it up. I know going into this, if you guys have been following for a while, if you watched my reactions to the clips that I covered and the trailers that I covered, that I didn't have high hopes for this season. Not especially after the kind of bad taste that season 2 left in my mouth. It's really, really hard to top that first season because it is, to me, pretty perfect. It's just David Tennant and Kilgrave alone, and that dynamic between him and Jessica and that whole struggle and pain and torment that he just imposes upon her and everybody around her. It's hard to top that. On top of the performance, David Tennant was a force in that season. And the transition into season 2 was quite a letdown. And they tried to play on that a little bit with him kind of lingering in her psyche in a way, her still kind of dealing with that trauma as a way to kind of, I guess, give us a little bit of a crutch as we get away from the Kilgrave storyline. Overall, though, aside from some of the key elements, I just could not get on board with the second season. I don't know why the whole relationship with the mother and all of that, I just couldn't really relate or immerse myself into that to suspend any of my disbelief on that current situation, on top of some really weird character arc choices with some of the supporting cast. And it left me wondering, where are these going to go and branch off into season 3? And I honestly, if you watch my reactions, I didn't have any high hopes for the season. And, season 2 definitely did not meet the bar that the first season of this show has set. But season 3 gets closer. It doesn't reach the bar. I don't think none of the seasons after this could, really. But this definitely got closer. I ended up really enjoying this season, despite the trailer didn't really tell you what the real story going on here is. I gotta say, the trailer and the presentation of the villain, the plot, and all that stuff, there's a lot of red herrings in the trailer, and the route that it ends up going in the later half of this season was really surprising. And I think it's definitely a different take than what I know in the comics of these characters. And I enjoyed it. It made it where I was worried about Salinger being too, or not personal enough of a villain to Jessica. The way they take this story, it definitely makes it that, and it really does settle in complete Jessica Jones's arc as a hero. Something that she's kind of always been struggling with and, putting off and neglecting and just kind of disregarding, and maybe not feeling she's worthy, or maybe it's something that she's not supposed to do, but this one really fleshes out and I think finishes and completes her arc in a very satisfying way. Even some of the other supporting character arcs kind of pay off, and I'm going to say that the pacing in this season was really great. I enjoyed the flow of it. I don't think there was too many beats that were wasted, and we got some new characters involved too that was really cool to watch and see how they played into the story. And, in a way, of course, with the rest of these seasons, as they have wrapped up, these being the final seasons, the final shows, as Netflix has canceled this whole batch of the Marvel shows that they had been running, these things that have been kind of an event for a while now. They had been losing steam, but people have still been watching them. I've still been watching them. And I was really curious to see how long they could keep these things going. So it is sad to see that these came to an end, to a conclusion. Punisher, I don't think, got the ending that it deserved. I think Daredevil was lucky enough that season 3 was a very good conclusion to the arc that they had between seasons 1 to 3. Iron Fist was just getting good, I think, with that second season after that really misstep of a first season. And Luke Cage was fairly consistent between season 1 and season 2. It wasn't it didn't really fluctuate all that much as far as the quality or the story goes. I was really on board and following along with that. But Jessica Jones had a huge peak and rise in that first season. The second season for me was a really big dip, but I think this leveled out in a way that it really satisfyingly concludes that story with this character. And I didn't think they could do it. I really didn't. I thought this was going to be a lackluster end. Now, there's some things in this that I really wish they could have done that would have made this a final end for the greater whole of this the Defenders universe, as you would call it. And I will say too that this one more directly references at least the MCU, and in a way that's kind of just, there's one line. There's literally just one line in there that I can recall, at least, that was just like, MCU. It's still there, kinda, I guess. No reference to the snap or anything like that, but nothing crazy like that, as you would hope. But there was at least an acknowledgement of it. But as far as the Defender universe that they have, their unit, their team, I was really hoping to don't get your expectations up, because I was hoping we would get like at least a cameo from the entire team to maybe like help her with her arc as a hero, maybe coming to terms with it. But don't get your hopes up. I'll go ahead and spoil that for you guys right now. But the season itself is great and worth the journey. I think it's a great little run. I think there's some subplots, mostly a love triangle that's thrown in there with one of the supporting characters, that I think that should have been completely cut out. And there was a way to make them fit in with the narrative a little more naturally and would have been a little more tighter. But that's really my only nitpick with this season, was just there were some things going on outside of the main plot that was just like, can we move on? Does this really need to be happening? It doesn't. I don't feel like it really helped the character's growth either, but there was another roundabout way that they could have done it that would have been much more integrated and naturally incorporated into the story, that I felt like if they just kind of cut that out. And I think that's one of those things where a lot of these seasons kind of tend to do the 13 episode thing, when they could easily be a much tighter season and have a much smoother pacing if they were just like maybe 10 episodes. This one again is the standard 13, and it shows, I feel like it could have been trimmed a little bit, but it never hindered my enjoyment of it. I was always ready to bite at the next episode, and I think this was an enjoyable send-off for the Netflix Marvel universe that they had with the Defenders, with Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Daredevil, and Luke Cage, and the Punisher. I just still wish we would have had more with these characters. I wish we could have seen where this would have went and branched off from, because I think these were some of the best iterations of these characters that I've seen, either on in animation or even off the page. I really enjoyed a lot of these characters more than I ever enjoyed their comic book counterparts. But for what it is, it sucks, but I think as a season and as a wrap up to this show, it did a really good job, and I would give this a solid B. This is easy a B for me, and I definitely recommend it, at least if you are a fan of these shows up until this point. Even if you haven't seen season 2, I think you can watch this and still be satisfied. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. If you guys have seen this season, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Let's carry on the conversation after the video. What did you think about the season? What are some things you would have wished? Would you have wanted this to continue? Were there some weak seasons, some things you wanted to be incorporated in this universe a little bit more? Would you have loved them to be in the MCU? Just anything. Let's do like a little kind of a tribute to our memories of this short-lived Marvel Netflix universe that we had, and the abrupt, messy end that Netflix brought down with its hammer upon these shows, with that hammer of cancellation. Let's carry on our memories down in the conversations in the comments, and yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, make sure to support the channel by hitting that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. If you didn't like it, tell me in the comments what you didn't like. I would really like to know. And yeah, that's it for today, guys. We got a lot of reviews coming out later this week, and yeah, we're playing catch up, definitely. But we got a couple things. I'm going to try to keep the ball rolling. But that is it for now, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video. You all take care.